Y'all, Wizard101 just put out not one, but two potentially massive teasers. We need to talk about it. I don't know how they haven't run out of teasers yet. I feel like for this to actually be real, this would have to deadass be the biggest update we've ever seen. But what am I talking about? Yesterday, Wizard101 put out this massive tweet. Now, the picture is not anything that we haven't actually seen yet. A lot of people might not know this, but what the picture is depicting is an image of the new bundle where basically they had a house that's based off of Krokotopia. And while yes, it does have updated graphics, it looks new and improved, this is not the first time that we've seen updated Krokotopia graphics, because we've also had a gauntlet called the Doomsday Croc Gauntlet that looked like an updated Krokotopia. However, the caption of this tweet is, in my opinion, the really big deal. They're saying, what if all of Krokotopia had graphics like this? Now, y'all, if this is truly what I think that it is, this would be potentially massive for Wizard101. I think Krokotopia looking the way that it does right now is a massive hurdle for the growth of Wizard101, its longevity, all of that. If we're talking big picture, if you're looking at people getting membership in Wizard City, it really is silly that they go through all this updated graphics in Wizard City, they go through the spiral door, and then they encounter all of this dookiness. Don't get me wrong, I love Krokotopia. I think it's a beautiful world. I think the plot of Krokotopia is very cool, but it is something that was made up like 14 years ago. It's obviously not gonna withstand the step of time. Just like every other Arc 1 world, this is not withstood the test of time. Now, if they were to update the graphics in Krokotopia, as excited as I am, I also hope that they do it in a more nuanced way than Wizard City. I've seen a lot of comments on the tweet, even on Reddit and stuff, like where a lot of people are like, yo, I'm excited about this, but one, please let there be classic mode, right? When they're talking about classic mode, they're just referring to, you know, let us have a way to revert, I guess, the music and the visuals of the world so that if we're nostalgic, we can still look at what it used to look like. That's one critique that I've heard, but the other critique that I have heard, which I really wanted to talk about, is I think Krokotopia presents some unique challenges to retexturing. What I think is really worth remembering is Krokotopia has an extremely ancient history, and the plot revolves around the Marleybonians coming in and, you know, dusting off, you know, the rubble. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like supposed to be broken down. It's supposed to be ruined. And I think little things here and there, like, you know, the islands being like tied together and crumbling apart a little bit. There are broken stairwells, and there's even like, you know, it looks like doors that have been blasted open, which is kind of nuts. I think what the graphics in current Krokotopia really are is it's like an intrusion on an ancient place that's crumbling apart, that's brimming with ancient history. What they really need to do, in my opinion, is if they were to retexture all of this, they have to keep that, like, you know, like intact. I don't think retexturing Krokotopia will be as easy as retexturing literally any other world. I don't think it's as simple as just, you know, looking at something that looks bad, like these hieroglyphics, replacing them with better looking hieroglyphics and calling it a day. What I really hope is that they, you know, make it look better, make it look more modern, but also keep the art style intact so that we have that ambiance that I think a lot of people love. If they are not capping about this teaser being like, you know, a Krokotopia retexture, then great. But I think there's another angle to look at with this teaser. While I think it is likely that they're just saying, yo, we're actually updating this world that we haven't updated in 14 years, I am a little bit skeptical because years ago they said that there were no plans to retexture any other world after Wizard City. It's been 5 years since they retextured Wizard City, so I'm a little skeptical that suddenly something has changed. And it was only a few months ago that they even hinted that it was possible to retexture Krokotopia. This was a comment made by one of the devs live on stream. I don't know when this happened, but I can confirm that they did acknowledge the possibility. Seems like a gigantic leap to go from acknowledging the possibility of retexturing Krokotopia to just doing it outright. And if they were to do it, this would genuinely be an update with 100+ new spells and the retexture of a whole new world and a Winter Tusk sized extra expansion to that world. That seems like a lot. So to me, this could be another angle where we're actually just seeing what Krokotopia would look like with updated graphics. Now, we've already kind of seen that with the Doomsday Croc Gauntlet, where the big shtick of this entire gauntlet was that we traveled back in time. So while one way to interpret this teaser is that we're just gonna get a revamp of this entire world, which I would be all on board with, another thing could be that we're somehow accessing a lost part of Krokotopia, maybe something that was lost to time. Now, you might have seen in the intro that I mentioned not one, but two teasers. The other teaser is from Ratbeard, and this is poetry, y'all, like literally. So the poem, or whatever, a haiku, literature is not my thing. But this is what this man's tweeted, right? Through eldritch mists, a city loomed. I looked up eldritch, It's like ghostly, you know, like an eldritch mist. It's giving like a ghostly fog. Beneath the pall of ancient gloom. Pall is yet another word that could relate to smoke or something of that nature, like the fog that they said in the first line. Its spires twist in silent dread where formless things still softly tread. Now here's where things get a little bit interesting. Right now they seem to be talking about like some kind of like something hidden that's still ancient, but it's still there. And to me, what a lot of this seems to suggest is that somehow, despite the crazy history of Krokotopia, there's some sort of gigantic city that has spires, which are gigantic, that has somehow withstood the test of time. That's to me what this is saying. And then the rest of the poem says that at dawn's first light, the veil is thin, where mortal minds and dreams begin. And the hours, they matter not at all when eldritch whispers start to call. So what this poem seems to suggest to me is that somehow there's a veil over some sort of ancient city that's been lost to time, and the best way to access it is at dawn, when the veil that's covering it is thin. Y'all, to me, what I think this means is that Selenopolis is what Krokotopia would have been if the Crocs had not taken over and basically enslaved the Manders. So it could be that the teaser that was put on the main Wizard101 Twitter maybe is not about a retexture, but about what Krokotopia would have looked like had it not gone into like ruin. I think that is the other way to read it, especially if it looks like something has somehow withstood the test of time in Krokotopia that we haven't discovered yet. I'm hoping that it is just a retexture, but I do think that's the other way to look at it, simply because I think there's good reason to be skeptical that they could even manage to do all the things that they're teasing. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on this. What do you guys think this is? Do you guys think they're deadass gonna retexture the main world of Krokotopia? Or are they alluding to the fact that the expansion, which is Selenopolis, was somehow so well hidden from the rest of Krokotopia that it does look like what Krokotopia would have looked like at its peak? I think they're both valid, but I'm somewhat leaning towards the second one. Let me know what you guys think about the possibility of a new Krokotopia. What do you guys think the lore of Selenopolis or whatever the hell we're gonna access in this upcoming update is? Honestly, y'all, I feel like some of these teasers, they deadass do leave us with more questions than answers, but I think honestly that's the fun part. If y'all didn't know about these teasers, hopefully y'all do know now. I look forward to reading all of y'all's thoughts on this. Drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a sub if you're new, and if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. Stay awesome, y'all. See y'all soon, and yeah.